though, you know, it attracts the tattoos and the gold tooth attract a lot of hate from basically. I need to come up with another word to describe it because I hate to necessarily lump them all together, but I essentially just want to say the incel community, because there's something about it, incel, that I feel like properly describes a group of people that have not discovered self-expression, and they're like nervous about being like too performative and being like, I don't know, being themselves. Hit me up to fix your bitrate. I might do that. But those are the ones that seem to be like hella attracted to the idea of like my tattoos being the worst thing ever or my gold tooth being a problem. Everyone else just, you know, it's a cool little accoutrement that, you know, 99% of the time isn't even worth talking about. They hate it because you look cool. Well, I think it does go a little bit deeper than that. I just think they haven't, like, I would venture to guess that a lot of these people who hate on tattoos or whatever, they literally haven't gotten to the point where they can do different self-expression with their clothes, let alone their skin, though. You know, it attracts, the tattoos and the gold tooth attract a lot of hate from...
Do you really believe that, Ian? Do you really believe that anybody who makes fun of your gold tooth or tattoos is an incel? Because that's a really sweeping generalization to make. Because let me tell you about myself. I have had dedicated emails sent to me, and I get comments almost every single video of people commenting on my septum when they come back to my channel and they've like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in a couple years. Now you have a septum piercing, you pig. Right? People don't like my eyebrow piercing. People think that I shouldn't get tattoos. They're like, what happened to you? Blah, 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 blah. Well, whatever. It just so happens that I don't label people who dislike my content or who make fun of my appearance incels. And there's actually way more clips that I could include on this, but this just was posted the other day and it's fresh, right? I think it's crazy to me that you label people incels. The three most common things I see Ian say these days is they're incels, they're Zionists, or they're racist. Okay, those three things. It's like we've went back into 2015, 2016, where when anyone disagrees with you on a particular thing, or somebody just makes fun of the way that you look, you have to attribute a label on them and say, well, you're only doing this because X, Y, and Z. You're racist, you're a Zionist, an incel, right? And I thought that we've gotten past this point of where when somebody criticizes you, that's the label we just give somebody. Now, personally, I actually agree with Ian here, Idubbbz, in regards to self-expression. I have always been an advocate for self-expression, especially myself. I love piercings. I love body modifications. And that's something that I used to do all the time, even when I was a homeschooled little kid. I used to put on clip-on piercings when I would go to my high school homeschooled group thing when my mom or dad wasn't around, because I liked piercings so much. And now that I'm in my 30s, right? Well, actually, I got my first tattoo like 2021. A lot of just these very basic things have all happened in the last couple of years, and it's a form of self-expression. But let me ask you this. Is it a form of self-expression if you're not even the person expressing yourself? And what I mean by this is, and correct me, I may be wrong on this, I swear to God there was a podcast clip of Anissa and Ian, where Anissa talked about she was the one who like helped, who chose the tattoos for Ian to put on his body. I'm almost positive, like 98% positive. Sure, there's a clip somewhere, and I couldn't find it. I did search for it, but there's a clip somewhere where he talks about his tattoos and how Anissa was the one where she helped him choose the tattoos for his body. At that point, if that is true, if it's not, then disregard what I'm saying. If that's true, man, then it's not really self-expression because you're not expressing yourself. And I think that people who, when they get tattoos, and this may be controversial to some people, but I think you can get tattoos for any reason, like you don't have to have a super deep embedded reason for why you got a tattoo. If you like art, you put it on your body. Who cares? It's your body, your choice, like, right? But for me personally, I am somebody like, I want tattoos that have meaning. Everything I have on my body so far has a story behind it, and maybe I'll make a video about that one day. I don't know. Like, for example, I'll just do this. Wrong side. My screen is backwards. Wait, hold up. There we go. Sorry, I'm an idiot. So this tattoo, I want to tell you about this tattoo, okay? This tattoo right here is very, very new, and I got this tattoo because I love Metroid Prime from 1986. Right? And one of the games I loved as a child was the Nintendo GameCube Metroid Prime. In fact, when I went to my artist Kate Peretz and I'm like, hey, I want Samus from Metroid, I gave her the picture of the orange suit. And that's what I wanted, was the orange suit. Instead, she, in her Russian accent, she's like, no, we're going to do this. On the day I'm getting my tattoo, she shows me this design because I wanted Samus and I wanted a hyper-realistic version of Skeletor. That shows you how old I am. Instead, she comes up with like the Metroid Dread suit, which is completely not what I asked for, completely unexpected. But that's what she came with. And I'm like, wow, okay, you know what? I accept this. I saw with her full design. I'm like, this is absolutely incredible. I love this. It plays homage to my childhood nostalgia of Metroid Prime. Also, Metroid Prime being one of the first games I ever broke a video game controller, you know, when I was a kid. And I love Skeletor and He-Man and stuff like that. So that's the story behind this. Is it's one of my favorite woman characters in the gaming world. I'm actually thinking about getting a Ripley tattoo next from the Alien franchise, but I don't know. We'll see. There's so many cool, badass science fiction women in video games and movies and stuff like that. And I just really love science fiction and video games. But that was the reason I got it, because it was like one of my favorite characters, right? It was my childhood. That is why I got that tattoo. Some people get tattoos for other different reasons. But the main reason I'm making this, the main reason I'm mentioning is I got my tattoos with a reason, right? And if people get tattoos without a reason, that's okay too. There's a lot of tattoo elitists who are like, you know what, you can't do this unless you have a reason. You should only get tattoos if there's a real reason for why you're getting it. And I think that's just silly. Art is art, and if people want to express themselves however they see fit, they should be able to do that. And I agree with what Ian is saying about self-expression, right? I think a lot of people who typically attack people for the way that they look, their piercings, whatever, it is due to a issue of either people just want to be mean and cruel, or they have personal insecurities of themselves in regards to not being secure in who they are. I don't think that happens to be a link to specifically label people all incels, you know, people who hate women. Because that's what an incel is. An incel is somebody who hates women. Do you think that you're only getting made fun of because of your tattoos because you're dating Anissa? No. You're going to be made fun of having your tattoos in gold tooth regardless of whether you're with her or not. And I think that it's really narrow-minded for you to think that the only reason that you're being made fun of with your self-expression on your body is due to the fact that they're all incels. These big buzzwords, man, these buzzwords are, I think, atrocious. And I thought that we've gotten past this. And I think that you should never do boxing again, because any more brain damage and you're going to be up in a wheelchair. And then Anissa's going to divorce you because you're not going to be productive for her from a financial standpoint. And mind you, Anissa has said, you know, at least I got Ian. I got the money, right? Like, man, imagine downgrading your relationship to only being with somebody because they're rich. That is so sad to me. Now, in my last video, I mentioned, I talked about Idubbbz yesterday. I mentioned that Idubbbz, since he's been with Anissa, since they've gotten married, I need to be specific. Since they got married, he is just not, he's decayed. Ian is decaying live on camera. It is so apparent. It is so clear. And some people in my video in the comment section were like, you're being so parasocial right now. Sure, I am. But also, my parasocialness is right. And I'm telling you now, today, what is today? Today is August 27th, 2025. When this happens, I am going to make a video and title it, I Was Right. Because I believe that I'm right on this issue. And I hope that I'm wrong. Genuinely, I hope that I'm wrong. But I believe that Ian Idubbbz is being abused by Anissa. And if you watch my last video, I kind of go into over why I think that. But it just goes to show that when I said that he is not a man, all I meant is that he has no sense of choice and agency of himself. Because I think, and this applies to men and women and all people in all types of relationships, when you lose your ability to be and express yourself for who you are, and instead your partner is influencing everything that you do, how you speak, your thoughts, your opinions, your perspectives, then you've lost the plot at that point. And you're not being self-expressive. You're not being who you are. You are being what somebody else wants you to be in order to make them happy. And I don't know. Some people have mentioned that Anissa was also Idubbbz' first girlfriend, first relationship. I don't know if that's true or not. If it is, then it makes even more sense on how somebody could be so deeply ingrained into a relationship like this and think that everything is jolly, jolly good and everything's okay when it's not. When it's so apparent through videos and clips and streams and podcasts that Ian is on a downward spiral, and there is nothing anybody could say that convinced me otherwise of that, because I'm watching it live, him decay. Every time he streams and gets on the internet, man, he looks worse and worse and worse. And it deeply, parasocially concerns me that somebody is being dragged down so much from a marriage like this. Like, I don't even believe he isn't even, does he even live in America? He lives in Canada now, I think. And to be able to see real world live what this woman has done to him is, it's unreal to witness, because I've never witnessed this online to this extent. Somebody who goes from somebody who was so well known to being literally one of the most disliked people on YouTube. He is like, it is crazy the amount of people who dislike Idubbbz and Ian now because of his content and what he talks about, and he just speaks about things he doesn't know anything about and uses these power buzzwords to label people Zionist, racist, or incel that have anything negative to say about him or his wife. And I think that when that is your identity, when you can only use buzzwords, and I should clarify, when I say buzzwords, those things do exist. Incels are real, racists are real, Zionists are real. When you only use those words to describe your detractors, though, people will take you less and less seriously as time goes on. Okay? It's just the way it is. You lose credibility as a person when you use these words and apply them in places that they're not applicable. I also think it's important to make a differentiation between, there are people who are not just ultimately shitting on all tattoos. There are people who are shitting specifically on your specific tattoos. There is a difference, okay? Art is art. I don't really personally have a problem with Ian's tattoos. I think they're just very tacky and cliche. Same with Anissa's tattoos. They're very tacky and cliche. I'm not a fan of neo-traditional tattoos in general. I never have. But if that's what people want on their body, that's their choice. And I really don't think people should really say anything, obviously, but people are going to, right? We're public figures. We're on the internet. If we have crappy tattoos or tattoos that are not popular or they're bad or whatever, people, even if they're not bad, people are still going to critique it. People are still going to make fun of it. People are still going to, clown on you for that. And you have to accept that's just part of internet culture. But here's the takeaway from this video. True self-expression does not need external validation. I'm going to say that again. True self-expression does not need external validation. I've already had people say that this tattoo looks ugly, which is crazy to me, right? I got this tattoo for me, and I don't care what anybody says. I think it's funny when people critique my appearance and they mention my receding hairline. Like, I go with the joke, right? It doesn't bother me. And I think that when you accept true self-expression, you don't have to seek external factors and validation from people, and you don't have to respond by calling people racist, incel, Zionists, or whatever label you want to put on somebody because they made fun of your appearance. Like, typically, when there was an email somebody sent me, this person sent me an email actually ranting about how I look ugly now. I kid you not. This was a couple months ago. And they were ranting to me in my email inbox saying, like, I can't believe you look the way that you look now. And I just responded, my piercings, my tattoos does not affect your life in any way. That's all I said. And then they replied again. They're like, it may not affect my life, but I want to let you know how bad it looks. It's like, okay, well, it doesn't affect me at all. Like, you're taking the time and energy to send me an email to talk about how I look like a bull pig. Okay. I like it. And it makes me feel more confident. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. It makes me feel more confident in myself to look a particular type of way. That is self-expression. I don't dress, I don't look the type of way in order to get somebody to validate me and be like, oh my God, look how good you look with a septum. No, the first day I got a septum on this channel, all people could talk about is how bad it looked on me. And personally, that's okay. I love it though. I think it compliments my face, and nobody says it's going to convince me otherwise, right? Ian, I believe that you can get out of this crippling depression. You can escape the power of the poo-tang, okay? Don't let it grip you so hard that you have to have her choose your underwear and what color of shirt that you're wearing each day, okay? You are your own person, and you can make your own decisions. I feel like I'm talking to a toddler right now. You can be who you want to be without somebody making decisions for you, okay? You can express yourself however you want to express yourself without her telling you what you can and can't do. And thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Thanks.